Just it's like no, it's no like introducing yourself to the session, to the class. Okay.
Do you want me
Can
to
you speak
talk?
through mic?
Oh, okay, okay. Just can you give me a minute? I'll just get the
Okay.
earphones.
Okay.
Just 1 minute.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's fine now.
Okay, yes. Initially, I took training on .NET,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm used to this coding part, and moreover, the thing is that in .NET there are less opportunities, so that's the one of the main reason I just wanted to opt this Java course.
Okay. Fine. Okay, fine. So coming to the Java, so
Yeah,
I'm the trainer for Java. Like you're going to learn the core Java and
yeah,
also the advanced Java here.
yeah,
So we basically start with Java, and
yeah,
we'll start learning few things along with the course that is called the basics, and along with how the Java programs run and how it occupies the space, and it's like entire world about Java.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
core Java is coming to two things. So are you able to see the screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I'll just explain you that for core Java,
Mm-hmm,
so there is a duration call for 20 days.
mm-hmm,
So basically, I just would like to tell you about the brief of the background of this training program. So
mm-hmm,
here you can cover this core Java within 20 days, and for advanced Java,
mm-hmm,
so it may take something around 45 days.
mm-hmm,
So here 5 days are like for practice. So most probably we are expecting to complete within 40 days.
mm-hmm,
So so combining both of these, you can learn something around or in between within 2 months itself.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 months or
Okay,
something
okay.
around like.
Uh, can you what I want to ask is that can you be fast?
Mhm.
What I like the thing is that I already did this Go Java concept in India. So
Mhm.
just go on fast, and if I have any doubts on it, I'll just text you or I'll talk to you.
Okay.
You got what I meant to say?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So you want to start from. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. You just start, and then if there is if I have any doubt, I'll just text you or just talk to you. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to say you this. That's it. If I have any doubts, I'll just talk to you or text you. Just go ahead. That's it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just go ahead. Yeah.
Fine. So here we'll just start with core Java. So core Java. So when you're talking about this core Java, we have like two things. One is called application
Mm-hmm.
programming. The second one is applet programming.
So are you typing anything on your screen? Anything in your
Yes.
computer? My
Yes.
computer is like just stuck. I just got a
Okay.
pink background.
Can you see now?
Oh yes, yes. Thank you.
I just refresh the screen. Sometimes it
Oh,
may happen.
okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay. So here, these two things are there in the core Java, and when you go with advanced Java, so here you will find the strings and struts and Hibernate.
Mm-hmm.
So here and the concepts will be like JSPs and Java server pages, and finally the web applications. So we'll go all this through all these things, and we'll also explain you how the real programming and how the experience how you can actually execute it. But we are not going to execute it on the runtime server, but we are just
Mm-hmm.
practically working on. And if you have any doubts, you can ask me so
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I can help you on.
Yeah, yeah.
And during the for installations, already do you have the installation of Java on your system?
No, no, no. I don't have any installation. Can you just provide me the link where I could download it and install it?
Okay, sure. I'll definitely tell you wherever it is necessary. I'll definitely tell you the link and show you the installation
Yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so coming to the core Java, so we first deal with application programming, and later in the last few days we'll learn about applet programming. And in core Java, let me know a few things about Java first. So what are the features of Java? So tell me some features, whatever you just remember about Java.
Um, Features.
It's just
It's
like recalling. Okay.
mm, okay. It works on OOPS concept.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
OOPS. Okay.
yeah, and it's the most used technology in all over the world.
Okay.
Yeah, and so the I remember these. That's it. Sorry. Simple.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah, yeah.
And the very important one is like platform independent. So there are so many things coming towards, like generally there are 10 to 11 features. So each and every textbook or each and every explanation will have more than these.
Mm-hmm.
But at present we are to just learn about only the few of the important things, like the first one is object oriented. So this is the
Mm-hmm.
basis for Java. And the
Mm-hmm.
second one is platform independent. This made Java to be available on every device in the world.
Mm-hmm.
The third one is architecture neutral. So this helps Java to evolve, and still Java is leading the technology world today, even today. So because architecture neutral in the sense like, okay, we'll just explain you one by one. So just come to the basics. So Java is a standard high-level language. So it is basically derived some of the features from C++.
Mm-hmm.
So when we are learning about CPP, so initially of course, everyone used to learn C because most of the
Mm-hmm.
programming basics were covered in C.
Mm-hmm.
And within C++, there's a concept like only the syntax and other features along with object oriented. So
Mm-hmm.
this concept will start working from there, and when it comes to Java, so it entirely works on object oriented. So somewhere you may have the interview, or somewhere you may have a question in your technical test that do you feel that Java is object oriented? Yes, it's exactly true and completely, not 20 or 30% or 50%. Java is 100% object oriented. So this is why the objects, the scenario is can be applicable, and Java is still evolving and it's still growing in nature. So this is the main reason that object has is nothing but a real-time element, so which may have its state and behavior. So each and every object will have its own state and its behavior. So when you define an object, it starts working according to only those two things. One is at what state it was. The
Mm-hmm.
second one is what its behavior is. So even if you take a method, for example, void print, I just want to start with, so I can write something here. So system dot. So what do you mean by this function?
Print.
Print. Okay,
Printing.
this is used
Yeah.
for printing something.
Printing something. Yeah.
Okay. So here, when you look here, so print is nothing but, so what is this part called?
It's a class with no return type, void.
Very good. So print is nothing but a function, or simply we can call it as a method here.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is an output function. So here there are three things again. One thing is like this one.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a function, and when you look here, this is nothing but a package. So this is simply called hierarchy, but I'll later explain you how you can work through hierarchy and interfaces.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the second one. So this is actually the third one. This is out is second one, and this one is first one. So this is completely the fourth one. So there are four parts in the statement. So how can you call this as a statement?
Mm-hmm.
So how can you name this as a statement?
This one?
Hmm. So can you
Uh,
define this as a statement?
yes. Okay. We are just giving information to the system that
Yes,
the fourth the hello world should be printed.
exactly.
Yeah.
So this complete hierarchy or this complete statement is used to print the hello world.
Yes.
And whatever you have here is semicolon. So what is the meaning of this semicolon here?
It's the end of the statement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why should we end the statement in a programming language?
Uh, to to tell the computer that this is the statement which you
Mm-hmm.
need to work at one time.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So this is why, just to know that we are just informing the compiler to stop executing this statement, and you can just exit to other one. So even the symbols like open and close braces will explain that start and end of a method, or
Yes.
a body of a program, simply called as.
Mm-hmm.
So as I said, like void is nothing but a no written type for this
Got it.
function, and
Yeah.
here empty parenthesis states no parenthesis.
Mm-hmm.
And here system is main object from which you want to derive the directory called out. So it is one of the other reference. So you can call it as some other class or library, Java library, and
Mm-hmm.
you can go for the function called print ln.
Mm-hmm.
So ln is again the different one. It differentiates the line. So you
Mm-hmm.
can also give
Next line.
the print statement without
Yeah.
using ln.
Yeah. ln is
And
nothing but next line, right?
yes,
Yeah. Okay.
print line. So
Mm-hmm.
even after printing the line, so it goes to the next line. The cursor
Yeah.
leaves.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So here hello world is what your defined object. So this is
Mm-hmm.
one of the object that you are printing. So object in the sense, again it's string. So this
Mm-hmm.
is string object. So
Okay.
this comes under the syntax.
Okay.
Okay. And when you write this, the system starts working from the beginning of the program. So it first reads void print and what is the statement written here. And if you write simply the println, so it does not directly print. So it goes through the features, println, out, and system. So system is the main class. So simply called as an object because every letter, symbol, or number in your program is called as one of the object. So regardless of its size. So here, what you're doing is you are just finally getting the statement out by using this statement. So in
Okay.
order to perform this task, so
Mm-hmm.
there are so many things like you need to write a syntax like open and close parenthesis, and you are just passing this parameter called string, isn't it? So you
Mm-hmm.
are just passing this parameter just to get the output,
Mm-hmm.
and that should be followed with the syntax actually. So this is double quotes where you have a proper format. It is called to be the syntax,
Mm-hmm.
and if you can follow this, the compiler will better understand what you're actually going to do. Otherwise, you may get some compile error.
Yeah.
So, so this is one of the format. So by this, you can understand how Java maintain its objects and what you mean by syntax and how it actually executes. So what happens when we write a small s here?
Small s. It's case sensitive, right?
Exactly. I just want to tell you about. So what do you mean by case sensitive?
Case sensitive is that um, the syntax should be the same
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a capital S in the code in the Java.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a capital S, we need to give here the same thing as capital S, not the small s.
So what is the main feature of getting this case sensitive things? So why? what do you think that programmer are very interested to make the language as case sensitive? I mean, it's just about your idea. It's not mandatory to answer or to get the things. I'm
Uh,
just,
I
yeah.
have no idea about that. Sorry. I don't
Okay.
know
So just,
why they use this case sensitive thing in the programming
okay.
language.
So as you learn C sharp, I think this you may also have this feature in C sharp.
Yeah, yeah. Case sensitivity. Yeah, everything there is case sensitive, right? In
Yes.
the programming. Yeah, yeah. But I don't know why it's case sensitive. I used some techniques like converting everything into a lower language or like lowercase or uppercase in the programming, but I never got this. I never got this out. So
Okay. So
yeah.
this makes every programming language an advantage. So this is how. So even when you start with C programming language, it is still case sensitive. So this feature has been added to all the programming language because there was an advantage. For example, if you want to type something called system, okay,
Mm-hmm.
system, okay. So when the programming language is case sensitive, so if you have a need to use the word called system in your own defined way, so if it is already reserved, for example, think for example, so this system was already been reserved by the system keyword. So you cannot use it more because it has a specific definition, right?
Mm. Yes.
So what if I want to use the same keyword in my programming or an application? So I am not able to use the system again, right? So if
Mm.
I use this system, so obviously it will detect, even though if it is not case sensitive, so this should be used in any manner, maybe in smaller caps. So I cannot use this word, right?
Mm. Yes.
So permanently I may lose the facility of using it in my program.
Mm-hmm.
So when it is case sensitive, then you have the freedom to use as, and so you can change your words, you can convert the language, and you can make the changes to the case, and you can use up to your wish. So if you write in a different way, for example, if you write in this way, so the compiler won't have any problem because it is case sensitive. Whenever you type only S as capital, then it occupies, and it will find this one as the system keyword.
Mm-hmm.
Still, it is not a good practice to use the same keywords, but you have the feature of having all those things in a better way. For
Yeah.
example, imagine that you want two integers, for example, a comma b, and you want to add them.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can write again a, for example, a for another letter and b for another letter. So I can make the changes like a equals to a plus b, b equals to a minus b. So here I'm using these capital letters in other different ways. So each and every A will have its own defined element, isn't it? So
Yes.
I can store some value here, for example 5 in here and 10 here. So here 15 or maybe 20 here.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm reusing the same variables by just changing the case, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
So this is a major use of how the programming language converts. Okay, so this is what the basic discussion about, and we just go through quickly about the brief history about the Java. So today we are going to learn about what a programming language was and why we need to use Java and what are the types in a brief, and object-oriented, and about compilation and execution. So get back to the basics again so that you may have a strong knowledge about. Okay, I think you already know these languages
Yes.
at its head.
Yeah. Yeah. C programming. Yeah.
Okay, so these languages comes under procedural oriented language.
Uh-huh.
So here, what do you mean by procedure actually?
Sequence a certain
Yes,
way.
right. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, so what are these languages? So
Object
you're already
oriented.
familiar with.
Yeah.
Yes.
Object oriented.
Excellent. That's right. So what are these type of languages?
These
Tell
are
any general name. I don't mind about how exactly that you answer, but I need some output from you. That's it.
okay. These are used for web designing, right?
Exactly.
Web languages. Okay.
Exactly. When you go for web programming, obviously you may have the idea of HTML, the basic
Yeah, yeah,
HTML, then
yeah.
going out with the program, and if you want functions, then you need to
Yes.
work with JavaScript and other programming languages.
Yes.
So the basic difference, we are just learning about this particular thing called Java here.
Mm-hmm.
So earlier we used to have COBOL, Fortran and C programming language, but this has a strict syntax and strict procedure to be followed.
Mm-hmm.
So no other element is independent of its syntax. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
they are called to be the procedure-oriented languages. So there
Okay.
should be a proper procedure to be executed within the program,
Uh-huh.
and which procedure is nothing but the basis of these languages. So one cannot actually work independently without depending
So,
on the other functions.
yeah, yeah.
So this is not in the case of C++ or maybe in the .NET or associated languages and .NET supported languages, and also with the famous Java, because Java is object oriented, and which is completely truly object oriented language where it interacts and which has a concept that deals with only objects instead of working with the other similar properties of any other language. So here in the same way, so web supported language or web programming languages are called to be this type of languages. So often you may call that scripting languages, or you may have static pages here,
Mm-hmm.
and you may have file transfer here, and finally you can define your functions in JavaScript and make them work and executed on your web page. Okay. So this question comes like, why Java? There are two major reasons that why we need Java here. So Java program, so these are all the features that you have just written here. That is cross-platform, it's robust and secure, and it is completely enhanced framework, so multi-threaded, object-oriented. So there are some other features called database-driven programs and distributed. So this distributed feature started making Java as available for, and it is available for modern web browsers and servers. So this feature enables all its objects to be available on the internet, and which
Mm-hmm.
can be served by anywhere from the world. So
Okay.
this nature has helped, and still there are so many servers which are dependent on this particular language which are serving web pages. Okay,
Distributed.
now we are just learning about the very important feature that is called, it's also called to the programming language, and it's also called to be the platform. Okay, did you understand the meaning before this, between this?
Yes. Yes, yes.
Okay, what do you mean by platform actually?
Uh, it's place where we use this technology, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so platform in the sense like it has a separate execution area, it has separate place where it can do its own works and which cannot be dependent on other platform. Okay, in simple terms, when we define about platform, so this is simply an operating system, maybe Windows, Mac or Linux. So there are so many other operating systems like Solaris and other things. But when we start working with platform, so Java has its own platform, and all other programming and all the Java programs will run on a separate area called JVM. So what
Java
JVM
virtual
stands for?
Java virtual machine, right?
Exactly, Java Virtual Machine. So this is a platform, and this is the execution environment. So it also contains JRE. So JRE and JVM are combined together, so they exist at the same place. because it's a runtime execution. So actually it was called to be the Java runtime environment. So often it's called to be the execution environment. Okay. So here, when we call this JVM as a separate platform, so Java doesn't need the support from any of the operating system. So it only requires the things or support from only this particular thing to run JVM. So if you have installed JVM on any other operating system, then this is enough for Java to execute its own applications on the same platform. So this makes Java to be available on any other operating system so that it becomes platform independent. So thus it achieves the goal of running individual and being independent language. So this is the reason that we call it a platform too. Okay, there are other few options like features like high level language, because Java has rich in its libraries and it was written in a standard English, and we use robust.
What do you mean by robust?
Very good. So robust in the sense it is not, it is very durable, and it is nothing but a tamper proof language.
Okay,
I
okay,
think
okay.
few of the features like Fortran or maybe other programming language will not work properly after you develop a program and after several years, maybe after 10 or 15 years, the program used to stuck. The program never starts at a regular interval. So it's not like
Okay.
that. So Java, when it is executing for the first time, the same type of execution and the same speed will be continued, and it sometimes depends on the system, but the program itself never tamper itself, or it is tamper proof. That's why we call robust. That means it will execute under any environment once it was executed on the system.
Okay, okay.
So you can develop it, you can send your file or class file or object file to anywhere in the internet, and you can execute the same program at the same speed with the same quality of life. So even after several years you don't find any difference in execution. So that's how the Java maintains its quality. So that's why we call this as robust. So secured because it's encrypted language, so it's not open, and it's open access is not given, but still it is open source, so that it is secure. And object oriented, as you already know, object oriented language completely depends on the objects. So
Yes.
everything is an object in a programming language, so then it is very easier to manage the objects instead of managing each and every method or working through the programs. Okay, are we clear so far?
Yeah.
Now, so this is another phase what we are actually willing to develop through Java, but this is just an example. So for core Java, we'll be able to work with standalone applications, and here there are four types defined mentioned. So one is standard, second one is web, enterprise, and mobile. And this enterprise is nothing but the repetition of 1 and 2, but with rich features. The fourth one is completely different. So this is the basic one, and these three can be combined together. And web applications is differently runs only on the client browsers and web servers. Okay, so when you talk about the standard one, so these may be the standard desktop applications. These are the examples, like if you're running your antivirus program on your desktop, or like AVG or McAfee or any other program. So it's like it is similar to these type of applications. So you can also develop these type of things by using standalone applications, and you can also work with several other applications, like you can also create 2D animation software or some media player or text editor. So these are the applications. So you can also take this Word actually and Notepad. So you can also create this particular Notepad along with. So these are examples of the basic standard applications which can run on the desktop systems. And when you go for web, these can run on the server, and this application can be placed within the server. Okay, this actually runs on the server, that is maybe on the remote location. And if you are developing the server, and if you are developing your application on your system, and if you are willing to publish it, so then you can just save and you can upload it to an external server, or you may just make your own system as a server. Then you can manage the port numbers, or you can find buy the space over the internet and you can just publish them. So there are several ways, but this comes under the web application, and we use the technologies called servlets and JSPs and struts and other technologies too. Next, enterprise applications. So these enterprise applications are the large scale applications which are probably having high security and high features and more what you call like connection oriented, and basically these are developed by the large organizations in their own standalone development environment.
Okay.
So sometimes there may be an example like executable Java beans. So these beans is called to be an object which can be used to develop some enterprise applications.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, have you have any idea of working with beans? Okay, so beans is a part of Java actually,
Mm-hmm.
and this creates the objects like runtime controls, and you can also write your own controls to develop some application. Maybe the controls are similar to some icons and
Uh-huh.
maybe menu bar, or maybe a button or text box or
Uh-huh.
a rich text box. So everything are already created within the bean, and you just need to inherit those properties to be usable in your project.
Mm-hmm.
So this makes the application within very less time, and you can actually develop them. So that's why these are basically used in enterprise applications.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth one, we already aware of these particular mobile applications. So the apps which were developed for mobile and which were developed for running and executing on the mobile or the small devices are called to be the mobile application development. So this is one type of Java application where you can have very less memory usage and which are very fast in its execution, and which can sometimes have the connections and which can directly connect to the server, and you can get the data retrieved. Now, okay, are you clear till here?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So basically, we are just going to discuss where actually it is used. So these are the things or the areas where Java is actually used. So we can develop some systems like media players or any desktop applications, web applications, and you can work with embedded systems, and you can have a small devices or the chips which are prepared to get the things work by using the programming language. So here embedded systems comes under these type of objects, or sometimes you may have your debit or credit card. Often you may find these particular chips. So these will have a little programming. So whenever they were inserted into the terminal, so that it enables or it gives some information about the user or the account holder, so that it can identify digitally, so that you can organize or you can just have your authority or access to that particular transaction by using this chip software. So you can, this Java is very much used in this type of embedded systems. So because of its independent nature, so it was not completely dependent on only Windows or any other platform. So that's why it can be embedded on any other devices. So basically this is the main reason where Java was initially developed just to program or to make them work on the set-top boxes. So basically it evolved to all the other different areas where you actually program even on microcontrollers or even digital keypads or mobiles or internet, and even in scientific research and in your programming and gaming environments. So many programs or games were developed by using Java. So even still they were going on. So this is the brief history about Java. So before we begin working with Java, like let's go through a quick recap about how it was developed. So James Gosling was a person, programmer, so he just developed Java, and later, I mean in the recent years, it was just incorporated by Oracle corporations. So it was undertaken by Oracle corporation. So basically Java was released, and the first version called 1.0 was released in 1995. So later it has its so many versions, and there are a few names like business name and version names for Java. So like Java have the development kit called JDK, and there was a little confusion between these two things, that is called J2 SE. Okay, so this is a prior version, and later Java SE. So it was renamed to Java SE, and initially it was J2 EE, next Java EE. So it was, these were renamed actually, and you have for each and every version you will have JDK and JRE versions. So JDK stands for
Java Developing Kit.
very good. So why it is used?
Is it the platform which we use for writing this Java programs?
Exactly, it contains the resources actually.
Yeah.
Along with the JVM, so it contains resources and development tools to run Java programs. So basically instead of telling it to run, so you can tell it to develop, because run is specifically a part of this JRE. So this particular runtime environment consists of few of the libraries and other tools to execute. So these things comes under execution, so JRE. So whenever you install Java, you can see these two types of folders. So when you install Java SE, basically, so JT, so Java SE stands for standard. Okay. So 2 stands for Java 2. So this is standard edition. So this stands for enterprise edition. So when you work with standard editions, so this is the basic and standard applicable or application environment for development of Java programs. And when you go for Java EE, so it is nothing but enterprise application. So enterprise will contain all the enterprise features along with the resources, and which is best suitable for the industry oriented development projects. So basically you here you may not have all the little or limited features of, so it will contain the extended features of Java, where it actually suits for most probably for web applications especially. And when you work with Java EE, so it may only contain few third-party, and it can also support some third-party entities and tools and applications too. But if you want to run your standard applications with the Java, then you can go for Java SE. So this is basically needed. So later you can use it as an extension for Java, or if you want to use only with a particular type, so you can then go for Java EE. So here, so when you install Java, so you can have these two folders, and on each of the two folders, so I just show you how you get this particular thing. So Java can be installed by default on this particular C drive. Uh, so it will obviously take this as a default drive for installation,
Mm-hmm.
and you can have this Java folder. Okay, if you can install Java on x86, that is 32-bit processor, so you can see this program here, but as the system is 64 and as I have downloaded the 64 version, then you can find it in the program files,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see the Java folder here, and you can see this version.
Yeah.
Okay, this is called the version number actually. So this is what I want to tell you that most of the people confuse. So this is 1.8.0, so it is similar to version number, and this is the product development version number, and the marketing version number for Java is Java 8. So both are same, because since the beginning Java used to publish the version from Java 1.0 and 1.2 and something like. So
Mm-hmm.
basically it has reached 1.8.
Mm-hmm.
So we used to call this version as Java 8 version.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the development version, or simply called as the product version, and this is the executable version or the marketing version, which is published over the internet.
Okay.
So when you just click on Java, so you can have a few familiar folders and bin, library directory, and include, and JRE files. And even when you go for JRE, so you can have bin and library, and even bin and library you can find all these particular DLL files. These are executable files,
Mm-hmm.
and here you can have the library. So here in library you can see the supporting tools and the JRE files. So this rt.com, and there are few other important files that will make work better, and that can be obviously linked and very helpful when you're running the application, I mean especially for the web applications. Okay, so let's see how you can actually install the Java. So let's go to the development environment. Yeah, so here the reason that the language was named to be Java is because layer it has, it is one of the fact about the Java, but it may not be published all the way somewhere. So basically it was called to be a Java copy somewhere uh, at the island of Indonesia was called to be, and it was, people used to name that, it was named after that. So there
Mm-hmm.
are several names like Green and B and other languages.
Mm-hmm.
So there were so many other names before Java, but finally the language was released under the name called Java
Mm-hmm.
in 1985. Okay, so we just had a discussion about these features about Java,
Yes.
and often these are also called as buzzwords. So these are all the features. So are you familiar with all these things, or if you
Yes.
feel
I have
okay?
some interpreted time. Architects.
Okay,
Yes. Yeah.
okay. So let's discuss about object oriented programming, and we'll see how you can actually install Java by visiting the
Mm.
web. Now coming to the concept called object oriented. So as this is a basic feature of Java, and for especially for Java, which works on completely on truly object oriented nature.
Mm-hmm.
So here, so these are called to be the general objects, where you can see the table, fan, and bike. So basically these are called to be the objects in real time. So we are not exactly talking about the programming objects, but just see how the object works in real time and in programming.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a table. So it
Yeah.
has its state in the sense like it's brown in color. So it is standing. So it is hold on a particular surface. It has some particular height. And behavior. So behavior in the sense like it can hold the objects. So that is its behavior.
Mm-hmm.
The same. So fan, which is white in color and which has three wings. So this is called, and which is not at revolving now. So So this is called to be the state. And what happens when it comes to behavior?
So what it does,
Yes,
fan like
exactly.
turns around, yeah.
Turns around. That is its behavior. So we cannot change its behavior, right?
Yeah.
So in the same way, for each and every object. So this is a real-time scenario where an instructor is teaching the students. So imagine that this is a class. Okay,
Mhm.
just forget about the class until we discuss about it. But imagine that this is completely an environment where you have each and every student as an object. Okay.
Mhm.
So what is the behavior of this object that we are discussing about, and what is the behavior of this object who is listening?
This one is first one is sorry, the student is standard behavior,
Mm-hmm.
and this one is the second behavior.
Okay.
You got what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Behavioral thing, and first
Yes.
one is standard.
Okay.
Students are in a standard one, and the lecturer who's giving the class is in the behavioral,
Okay.
right?
So here, just changing a little bit about what you said. So each and every object, actually, think this one is also one of the object. So let's this an object. Okay, one. So this may be two, three, four, and imagine this is five. Okay, each and every person has its state and behavior. So he is standing. So that what you said is right. This person is sitting. So this is their state actually.
Mm-hmm.
And this state other one is called the behavior. So he is teaching, so he is delivering his content. So this is its behavior, and these people are listening. So the behavior of a student is to listen something. So in the same way, so when you consider this as a separate environment which is performing, each and every object is performing its own task, then it's called to be the object oriented nature. And in coming sessions we will learn about what a class is. So obviously this class contains several objects which has its own state and behaviors. Okay, let's see other explanations, other examples too. So there are other features. So in object oriented we have, so by seeing this image, can you define the feature of Java?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it is just for expectation, just to test you. That's it. Don't worry about the answer.
Okay.
So this is called the inheritance feature, where the parent
Oh,
class will give
yeah,
its properties
yeah,
to the
yeah,
derivative class.
yeah. I know that. Yes, yes.
Okay, these are the properties. So
Mm-hmm.
whenever you include this parent class in your program, so then you can use its properties. That is called, it may be the objects function or
Mm.
other behaviors to the derivatives class. So we are just learning about inheritance. So this is one of the project, I mean one of the feature of this particular object oriented. Now this is an
Yes.
example of how people communicate. So this
Yeah.
is in our real time. So everybody will communicate with their own language. So objects will communicate in the same way by their behavior and by creating their own instance variables.
Mm-hmm.
So if an object is speaking like in English, so is ducking is speaking in this way. So only other ducks can understand. So
Mm-hmm.
this is how it shows the relationship between the objects. So in the same way, the human being cannot understand the dog's voice or something. So this is an example of how we understand, and there should be a communication between the objects. So if something is interacting, so there is no proper communication because this object is not actually cannot interact with the other object without a standard medium. So that was an example in this diagram. So we can also learn about encapsulation, that is hiding the details, and abstraction. So showing only the few important features other than showing all the features. So this comes under the two other properties of object oriented.
Object oriented. Yeah.
So encapsulation comes from the word called capsule actually.
Absolutely.
So encapsule means like So you have small granulates inside it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this capsule is hiding all the things, but showing only the two pieces of container.
Containers.
So these two pieces were shown directly to the user who is using the application, but what are the procedure, what are the methods and other variables and objects which are hidden, so they are basically hidden from the user. So this is called encapsulation procedure. So we'll achieve this encapsulation by using that feature in the object-oriented programming.
Hmm.
Okay. Now this is a small example of how you start writing your Java program. Okay, tell me, is it really important to write class? Do you believe?
Yeah, because it's we are saying it to the computer that this is a class, not a method,
Mm-hmm.
or so it's a class, or this is a class we can which we use to create an object. So
Exactly.
yeah.
So even if I remove this particular class, I cannot run the program because Java is created in such a way that it is very strict about its construction.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you can ignore something. So as it is very strict about its own syntax
Mm-hmm.
and about its own features. So as the program itself is encrypted and
Mm-hmm.
nobody can modify the language, so that you have only the chance that you can just adapt the features and you can use them. So in the same way, so every program will depend on its classes. So whatever you write in Java will be within the classes itself. So you
Mm-hmm.
cannot write something away from the classes. Or okay, tell me something about this line here.
Okay, according to me, this is a public statement. Static is that which cannot be changed during the
Wonderful.
process. Void, no return type, and main is nothing but this denotes that the program which should be executed starts after this statement. And
Mm-hmm.
string args is nothing but it's just saying that this program contains some string elements
Mm-hmm.
which can be used.
Okay. So why you are mentioning array after arguments?
Uh, because string is not an integer, right? It contains group of characters. So group of characters is nothing but something. A group is called as an array, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the main reason we are giving an array. According to me, I don't know what's the exact
Okay,
reason
this
for
is
that.
just to help you understand it deeper. So that's why I often few questions. Okay, don't worry about the answers. You can just tell about your general answers, what you feel and what you think. It doesn't mean, and it's not a real-time interview. So don't feel tension while you give the answers. This is what. So actually, whenever you mention class, so the main function. So the rule is called like. So only the class should have its own function. So you cannot define the main function separately and without a class. So always wherever you write, so you write the class within main function within the class. Okay. So as you said, right, so public is a access specifier, static,
Mm-hmm.
it cannot be changed, void, no return type, main is a function.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start learning about these things like string args, so what happens if I can give int arg? So is it acceptable here?
I don't.
So in general practice we don't give this because the reason was like string is as a class and it's as subclass or internal and it's an independent Java library. So here string is contains within the Java hierarchy like java.strings.
Mm-hmm.
So string is an independent class, actually independent reference. So
Mm-hmm.
basically string will have all the major features which every object can actually depend, even the integer or any other different types of things may obviously it finally will depend on string. The main reason was the string is the content where it can have Okay, characters. Okay, numbers. Simple. So we can have only both three things because we cannot generate other extra thing or extra type of data through the keyboard, isn't it?
Yes.
So all these things comes under only strings.
Mhm.
Okay. And even if you want to write integers, so for example, imagine that you have written integers. So what all the things that you can include? You can only include numbers, but
Numbers.
that particular function may not be usable by other data elements, isn't it?
Mhm. Yes.
So that's the reason we just mention strings to be a parent parameter here. So this
Mhm.
parameter will mention that every object is a string and every object is a subset of string and
Mhm.
which will have the similar elements, and the array is always empty because we don't know how much elements that we use or how many functions that we use and how many arrays and what is the data and what is the range of elements that we use. So that's why it's always mentioned empty because we are not sure about how we use. So if you
Mhm.
mention something like, so it will be limited, and it's also not a good habit to write some limit to the program. So
Okay.
basically the developers use it to decompose and to debug that particular programming language itself. So then only they will produce these values, and this main function obviously will tell about, and this all when you're using when you come across the static keyword, then you can just skip this public, or you can simply write static main or static void main. So it's up to you, but this is a standard program how we can actually use it for running the program. So this is the program that you use, and if you want to print some statement, so you will be writing the statement within the double inverted quotes. So what it does is it prints.
Mhm.
So basically when you're actually working, so what is the output that you get by executing it?
Hi. Semi exclamatory.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think this space was occupied
Yes.
by the string? Does it have
Yes.
any value?
No.
Okay, fine. So what happens if I write the program like okay, okay, and if I give the variable call s, so what would be the output here?
Hi.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay, so what I write here?
Yeah. We get hi, three spaces, Virinchi, and
Okay, I have
three.
given you the keyboard access. So just
Yeah.
type me the output there. I mean this expected output.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay, uh, fine. So you'll have this keyword, right? Okay. So you have three spaces and completed.
Yes.
So yeah, we have three spaces here. So if the spaces were not valid, so why this particular statement is printing with the statements, with the spaces?
Uh, no, I think it's because there's a letter or a character after the space. That's the
Hmm.
reason it's printing with the space, same as we have given.
Okay. Just imagine that we are just removed everything,
Yeah.
but you have given long space.
Yeah. There's okay. After this high, there is no
Okay.
other character or anything, right? So it's just ignoring the space.
Really it does.
Uh, I think so.
So what if I'm giving like s comma s1?
I think that doesn't work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes. You can give like this, and instead of writing s in the system dot out, you need to give s1 to print the value, right?
Yeah, but actually that's a different scenario. Okay, we'll learn about it. Okay, just imagine that I just want to mention, okay, s comma s1. Okay, imagine that I have just given a semicolon here and s equals to s1 equals to some other string. Okay, what happens now? What happens for the output? So if I can copy these statements, so what would be the
Okay.
output?
Hi and Virinchi without space.
And Virinci without space.
Yeah.
So in the same line, you're telling that it will print here, isn't it?
No. Yes, 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 yes. Because we gave this ln, right? So it's ln
Mm-hmm.
is nothing but the next line.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if now
The same thing.
you'll see the
I
same thing, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now I just want to make the changes. Now tell me the output.
Same hi.
Mm-hmm.
I think hi and Virinchi without space.
High and Virinci without space.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you familiar with Eclipse?
Eclipse? No.
Okay. So why people use? I mean, do you know the basic usage of Eclipse?
No. No, no.
Okay. What is the compiler that editor that you use for running Java programs?
Oh, is this a compiler?
Yeah, actually, it's not a compiler, but it uses the compiler from the installation itself.
Okay.
It has a tool for execution. It's nothing but an editor. It also contains a compiler inbuilt into
Okay.
it.
Okay.
But basically, it is called to be the tool for writing and compiling and even executing the Java
Okay.
programs.
Okay. So the answer which I told you, is it correct or wrong? Right or wrong?
No, actually, just to know you practically, I'm just opening so that you can
Oh,
find it.
okay.
Basically, it will print a different output actually, because whenever you give the space, so
Uh-huh.
basically that space will be having the value. So whenever you write it here,
Uh-huh.
so this space is valid actually. Okay, just
Okay.
see how it works here. So just go to File,
Mm-hmm.
New, next create a project. So simply click on Java project. Next, give a small name for it. So basic hello world or something. Just click finish. So you'll be seeing that particular. I think it's already there. Okay, click no for perspectives. And here, in the source, you have default package and example.java. So already it's there. Okay. Or try to execute it. So Eclipse actually uses its programs or its runtime environment from the installation folders of your JRU. So obviously it
Mm-hmm.
will, Eclipse should be installed after you install Java completely.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to set the path properly, then only you should start installing Eclipse. So
Okay.
it automatically takes the path and execution libraries from the where you have actually installed Java, and it executes those, and with the help of, it executes the program with the help of those path and libraries.
Mm-hmm.
So basically this is an editor where you can find writing the code,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the output terminal so that you can see the output for this program.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to execute this project, like just click on hello world, and just click on this particular example, and you can just simply run it so that you can see the output here.
Okay.
So if you give space here, I'm just running it. Okay. If I write something like, okay, some other letters, and just output. Okay, it's
Okay.
working. Now when I type this in this way, okay, you could see
Oh,
the value of space, right?
yes, yes, yes.
Exactly the same thing happens whenever you give the two lines of statements. So just you can actually write it. Do one thing like copy, paste it. So you know this technique, like you can also go continuously typing all these things in the similar way by simply clicking this particular semicolon. So it's also, even it was also valid.
Mm-hmm.
So I can give execution. So I'm not typing it in this next line, but I'm just executing. But still you could see the statements executed.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
So when I give spaces here, so this statement is ended here just to tell the compiler that the statement was end, and give the semicolon here and press enter.
Okay.
So it is similar. So even if you write, this is the way that you write for your understanding in the next line, but you can go typing the same thing by giving the semicolons, still it executes. Now just see here, I just remove line statement and I'll execute it now. So you had
Yeah,
a difference,
space.
right?
Yeah,
So all this,
space has some
exactly,
value.
exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so we are going to execute on Eclipse, because Eclipse is a recommended IDE, so integrated development environment for Java.
Uh-huh.
So basically, it can also execute other programs, other programming. It's also used for other programming languages, but still, if you want to download or editor for Eclipse for Java, then you will have to select that particular IDE for Java. So this is a Mars version. So if you want the same version or the same type of runtime environment, so you can see this version called Mars 2, but there was a newest version which is called Neo. You can also have that, but it was proved to be the standard version till the existence of this Neo. So this is another one, which is the recent version, where you can see
Eclipse.
the Neon. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Eclipse. So they used to give separate naming for each and every version of Eclipse. So they will have the advancement and support for several web servers as well as for the development framework, and they used to they keep on updating the libraries based on the new environments. So it's always better to install the newest one, but still the Mars is enough for execution for core Java. Okay, it also looks in the similar way, and okay. Well, okay, this is another part of discussion, so it will have some other things. So tomorrow we'll just see how you can actually install the things. So until then, so if you want to install the things like Java, you can visit. Okay, this is the newest version, so you can see the Neon workspace, and you can go to Eclipse and you can find the version or the version name. Okay, so this is a version called Eclipse Neon Release 4.6. So you can just download it by typing eclipse.org. So you can, okay, eclipse.org. So here you can have all the Eclipse versions, but the latest version will be focused in the first page. So if you want to go with all the packages or all the development tools, and if you want to select few, so you can go for Eclipse downloads here. There are so many, actually Eclipse works with several other languages, so just don't select any other version which is not suitable for Java. So there are some other versions which may be working with or comfortable with only few of the environments. So if you are running 64-bit processor, then select this one, or you can actually go with the other versions if you are not familiar or your system doesn't support, because it only works with 64. That was only the problem. And if you have 32-bit versions, you can also go with Mars. So you can go with Mars. So this is what you see C or C++. But just select Eclipse Mars ID for Java or J2W. So you can have this particular element. So you can just download it and see all the project development tools. And these are the earlier versions like Galileo and Helio and Juniper. So if you want to download Mars, then you can simply go. And you can just click on the type of bit that you want to click. So if it is Windows 32, then go for it, or 64, then go for this one. So this is basically used for C or C++. And for PHP, there are some other similar things. And there are other supporting tools within the same Eclipse. And not all the things are for development, but you can just go with Mars by working this one. So if you want the environment to be very a little familiar, not much complex, then you can go for this one.
Okay.
But I recommend for higher usage of the libraries, you can go for this. There might be no much difference, but you will find this is helpful. So do you feel comfortable with what you have seen here?
Yeah.
Okay, then it should be better, because most of the corporate companies were still using Eclipse. It was actually a recommended tool. So if you become familiar, then it won't be a big problem to work in future. So that's what.
Okay.
The only one thing complex in Eclipse is you need to set up path, and Eclipse just you need to try at least one program that can be executed by using Java. So if you have a problem, then you need to set up the libraries. So, but this problem may not happen with other tools like NetBeans or other things.
Okay.
So once you can execute, then you can. There is no other problem for this.
Okay.
And for downloading Java, you can go for Java.
I'm using Mac. Does Java does Java support Mac?
Yeah, sure. Java can execute on any other platform.
Yeah. Can you show me the download option for Mac, please?
Okay. So basically, you can go to download page, or you can also go for Oracle. So basically, Oracle Corporation has been taken down.
Yeah.
So you can just click on. So obviously, what happens is when you visit this page, your system or the recommended version will be shown on the first page itself.
Okay.
So download Java desktop computer now. So I think I don't know the particular version which can run on Mac, but it will show you the recommended version on this page. So that you can basically start executing it by clicking on exe file, and you can simply download it. So if you want to go with other versions, then click on all Java downloads, and for Windows this one. Okay, I think luckily you find it here.
Mac.
So Mac OS X, which is for 64-bit MB. So for 10.7.3 after above. For Linux and Solaris, you can go with it.
Okay.
So you can just simply click on it, and you can simply get the download file and simply save this and start executing it.
Okay.
So yeah, I think you can execute .dmg file, right?
Yes.
Okay, this really works. And later, tomorrow we'll discuss about how you can set the paths.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you need further information on, then go for instructions of how you can actually install it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Can I know your name?
My name is Anil.
Anil. Oh, okay. Hi. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you just provide me some material on Java or something, like some PDF files or materials?
Yeah. For every day, I'll be sharing the material what we have actually discussed. I'll share this material for today what you have actually discussed.
Okay.
Okay,
So class tomorrow, the same time in the morning, or you're gonna take my class in the evening times?
Oh, it's better. I don't mind in the morning, but it should be in the 5:30 a.m. for IST. Are you available?
Yeah. I'm okay. It's 8 in the night time for us. 8 p.m. in the night.
Do one thing, like talk to the training desk.
Okay.
Speak to them, and I'll get back to them.
Okay.
Just
you can just tell Pratyusha or Pratyu or someone to just message me about the timings, and I'm okay. It's okay. I can do it in the morning or in the night. It's up to you. Just
Okay.
tell them and then tell them to inform me.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. All
I'll
right.
do that.
Just mail me the material, please. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be sending the material to the training desk, so they will
Okay.
be communicating to you the same to you.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Thank you, Anil.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.